What's up, Meta Nerds? Today's video is all about the Chameleon Droid, a very rare droid with the power to go invisible. Pretty crazy stuff, so let's see what else we can learn. Manufactured by Racket Industries in the Techno Union, it was 2 meters tall or 6.5 feet, and was originally designed just for mining purposes. Like we saw with other droids, the Commerce Guild bought them all up and put them into use in all their various mines across the galaxy. A really good purchase because these things had a lot of really cool features. First off is that you had the ability to send these things out to even the most remote planets, because they all fit in their own hyperspace pods. All you had to do was pick out the locations, shoot these things through hyperspace, and eventually they would land on their planet. They would automatically go about collecting data on this world, and then would just transmit all this information back to the Commerce Guild headquarters. Another cool feature is that they were able to stick to any surface via a combination of repulsor lift and tractor field technology. The repulsor lift would make the overall weight of the Chameleon Droid a lot less, but it would also generate a traction field at the end of each of its pincers. This created a pulling force that was greater than that of gravity, so that the Chameleon Droid could be upside down without falling down. Once the Clone Wars started, the Commerce Guild realized that they could change a few things and make this a fighting machine. They took out all the sensors in the chest and replaced them with 3 laser cannons. And it had a little storage bay which had some blasting caps, just for clearing out some little rocks. Well, these were chucked out and replaced with 24 military-grade fragmentation mines. And the final diabolical piece to this droid was its cloaking device. It technically wasn't invisibility, but instead it was upgraded with a holographic array. The way it worked is that it had a camera that could see what was behind the droid, and the hologram would simply project this image in front of the droid. So let's say the Chameleon Droid was standing in front of a building. Before it's cloaked, I'm just going to see a droid standing there. But through this system, I will see a very high-resolution hologram that completely covers up the droid. So I would look at the building, and I would see the building. There was a James Bond car that used a very similar concept. Instead of the Aston Martin Vanquish, they dubbed it the Vanish, which supposedly had a whole bunch of tiny cameras, and the paint of the car was actually able to act as a display screen for whatever was behind the car. Don't get too caught up on the physics here. Despite this cool ability, the Chameleon Droid was not a frontline assault kind of droid. Instead, its job was to sneak past enemy lines and lay down a whole bunch of mines. But it could be also used to assassinate important Republic figures, or sneak into bases and destroy key targets. It's said that they were put into use as military units 4 months after the start of the Clone Wars, and we get to see that a lot of them were sent to the planet Ilum with the goal of collapsing in all of their mines, so that the Jedi would be unable to build any new lightsabers. Ironically, they were stopped because Jedi Master Luminara Unduli was actually helping her Padawan Barriss Offee at the time that the Chameleon Droid showed up. Yoda was nearby and sensed a disturbance in the Force, and once he arrived on Ilum, he was able to team up with the other Jedi and eliminate all the Chameleon Droids there. And while Yoda is fighting them, he has a pretty amazing quote: "Come out, sly droids. To my eyes, hidden you are not." After this, they were used all throughout the Clone Wars, including Ryloth, and they were supposedly on Felucia, standing right in front of the OG-9 homing spider droids. But, of course, we can't see them. That's pretty convenient. Like most of the droids we talk about, their story ends with the deactivation at the end of the Clone Wars. Some cool facts and behind-the-scenes stuff: the Chameleon Droid was still detectable by sensors. It just was invisible to your eyes. But it's interesting to wonder if this cloaking technology would be able to trick every species in Star Wars. It obviously got its name from the chameleon, which is interesting because the chameleon doesn't go invisible either, of course. It's just mimicking its background as well. And it was also known as the Spelunker Droid, Spelunker being another name for a person who goes into caves. But that's it for the Chameleon Droid, and if I missed any cool facts, be sure to leave them in the comments below, and feel free to make a request for a future video. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already, because we're making videos like this every single day, and if you want to learn even more about Star Wars, there's YouTube, Wikipedia, and all of our other playlists. But if you want to get your hands on some source material, be sure to check out the link in our description. Anything you buy through that link helps shoot us back a small percentage, so we can help Meta Nerds grow, and maybe do this full time, which would be an absolute dream come true. But most important of all, remember, the Force will be with you, and always use it to check your surroundings for Chameleon Droids.